I've been driving trucks for years, hauling cargo through the black veins of the world's loneliest highways. The Canadian Rockies loom like silent giants, their jagged peaks clawing at the sky. This stretch of road, I've driven it 100 times. But that night, something was off. The air felt heavy, like the world was holding its breath. The highway was too quiet. No hum of distant engines, no rustle of wildlife. Just my medium-duty truck rattling along, the only thing alive for miles. I'd passed a small town, its name lost to my caffeine-dead brain. My bladder was screaming. I'd missed the last rest stop, and the next one was 30 miles out. Couldn't wait. So I pulled over, tires crunching on gravel. I stepped out, stretching my aching back. The cool night air hit me, sharp and biting. I wandered to the tree line to, well, you know. The pine trees stood like black sentinels, their silhouettes swaying in the wind. Beyond them, the darkness was absolute, a void that swallowed everything. I lit a cigarette, the flame flickering in my shaking hands. A couple of slow drags to steady my nerves. As my eyes adjusted to the dark, I caught movement behind the trees. A quick flash, like a deer bolting through the underbrush. But the way it moved, it wasn't right. Too jerky, too deliberate. Then I saw him, a figure emerging from the shadows, tall, maybe in his 30s, wearing jeans and a hooded jacket. The darkness played tricks, making his movements look wrong. My gut twisted. There were no cars, no cabins, no reason for anyone to be out here. Just me, my truck, and now, him. I crushed the cigarette under my boot, forcing myself to stay calm. Casually, I walked back to the truck, slid inside, and locked the doors. My foot hovered over the gas, but I didn't drive off. I don't know why. I just watched. He kept walking, one slow step at a time, never speeding up or slowing down. His hood hid his face, but his eyes, they locked onto me, sharp enough to cut through steel. He reached the passenger window and stopped. His bony hand lifted, knuckles rapping on the glass. My body jerked, heart slamming against my ribs. He leaned closer, his pale, gaunt face pressing toward the window. Hollow cheeks, cracked lips, eyes like he hadn't slept in weeks. I rolled the window down an inch, gripping the wheel so tight my knuckles went white. "What's up, man?" I asked, voice steady as I could manage. He exhaled, a deep, raspy sound that crawled under my skin. "I need you to call the cops." His voice was low, trembling. I scanned him for injuries. Anything to explain this. Not a scratch. Confused, I asked, "Is everything all right?" He lifted his hand, scratching his head with a knife. The blade glinted in the moonlight, sharp and wicked. His eyes darted wildly, like he didn't know what to do with it. "I came out here to kill myself," he said, voice barely above a whisper. "Walked from town, but when I was about to do it, I saw their faces, my daughters. I couldn't." Silence stretched between us, broken only by the faint click of my hazard lights. I called the cops, staying in the truck, watching him like a hawk. He didn't move, just stood there, tears streaming down his hollow face, like they belonged to someone else. He stared at me, uncomprehending, then crouched and placed the knife on the gravel. When the red and blue lights flashed in my rear view, relief flooded through me. The cops cuffed him, asked me a few questions, and loaded him into their car. Before they drove off, I walked to their cruiser. I wasn't scared anymore. "Hey," I said, meeting his eyes, "it's not over. You walked out of those woods alive. Don't waste that. Live for your girls." He gave a faint nod, barely there, and they took him away. Years later, I still see him sometimes, standing by the tree line on those empty roads, watching, waiting, I don't know if he made it or if part of him is still out there, lost in the dark. But I don't stop to piss on the side of the road anymore. Last week, I was hauling machine parts for a construction company in Utah. 4 hours on an empty highway, the kind that stretches into oblivion. Rain had slowed me down at first, drumming on the windshield like impatient fingers. By the time I hit the dusty back roads, I was bone-tired. Thunder rumbled in the distance, and I knew it was time to call it a night. I pulled the truck under a gnarled tree, its branches clawing at the sky. I scarfed down a cold turkey sandwich my wife made tasted like home, like her hugs. I rolled down the window to scope out my surroundings. No rain now, just a cold, howling wind tearing through the darkness. I closed the curtains, reclined the seat, and draped my jacket over me like a blanket. Sleep came fast. An hour later, I jolted awake. A faint jiggle at the driver's side door, metal scraping metal. Subtle, almost polite, like someone was testing if they could slip inside. My heart kicked into overdrive. You know that feeling when you're deep in sleep, and a strange sound rips you awake. Yeah, that. No cars had passed, no crunch of tires on gravel. Just me, alone in the middle of nowhere. I crept to the curtain's edge and peeked out. Nothing. Just the empty road and swaying trees. Then a click from the passenger door. I crouched, peering over the curtain's top. Still nothing. A cold shiver crawled down my spine. I hit the starter. The engine roared, headlights slicing through the dark. Spotlights, floodlights, high beams, everything blazed. The road stretched empty ahead. No one was there. I tried to laugh it off. Just the wind, I told myself. A gusty night. Maybe some tumbleweed banging against the truck. But sleep wouldn't come now. My ears sharpened, catching every creak of the truck's frame, every rustle outside. My mind twisted them into footsteps, creeping closer. Then the vents rattled, the little panel vents by the sleeper berth, the ones you never notice. It sounded like fingers prying at them, scraping slowly. The door handles jiggled again, harder this time, frantic. My stomach dropped. This wasn't one person. It felt like a pack of them, circling, testing every entry. Then thuds. Someone was pounding the truck's metal body, heavy and deliberate. I froze. Something shifted, a weight pressing down. The air suspension hissed like the truck was buckling under a load. Footfalls echoed across the roof, slow and heavy. The windshield cracked at the corner, a spiderweb spreading as something patted against it. I hit the panic button. The alarm screamed, loud enough to wake the dead. I thought it'd scare them off. It didn't. The noises kept coming, tapping, scraping, clicking handles. The truck rocked slightly, like something massive was crawling over it. I was terrified, curled in the sleeper, clutching the wheel like it could save me. I don't know how long it lasted. Then, all at once, it stopped. The alarm blared a few seconds longer, then silence. Just my ragged breathing and pounding heart. Headlights cut through the dark as another truck rolled by. Relief hit me like a wave. I stayed awake all night, gripping a tire iron like my life depended on it. When sunrise finally bled through the trees, I jumped out, still clutching that iron. I checked for tracks, footprints, anything. What I found stopped me cold. Blood streaked the truck long, dragging smears, like something wounded had clawed its way across. On every window driver's side, passenger side, even the sleeper's portholes, tiny handprints, like a toddler's, sticky, pressed over and over, as if someone had licked their palms and slapped the glass. No tracks led to or from the truck, just blood and those eerie prints. I scrubbed it all off before hitting the road. If a cop saw that, they'd think I was a murderer. I don't know what was out there that night. I'm just glad I made it out alive. But sometimes, when I close my eyes, I see those handprints, glowing in the dark, reaching for me. I've been driving Mississippi's back roads longer than I care to admit. Flat farmland, two-lane highways that stretch into forever after a while. The quiet becomes your friend. But that night, somewhere between Clarksdale and Greenwood, I learned some places aren't as empty as they seem. 14 hours behind the wheel, propped up by caffeine and cigarettes, and the weather turned ugly fast. High wind advisories, tornado watches, and a storm brewing in the Delta. I'd called my wife before leaving Clarksdale, promised I'd check in once I was clear of the danger zone. But 30 miles out, a hailstorm hit, pebbles at first, then bigger chunks, pinging off the hood and windshield like gunfire. Any Mississippi boy knows summer starts with hail. I eased onto the gravel shoulder, cut the engine, and left the lights on. No cars ahead, none behind. Just me, my pickup, and endless black fields in every direction. I rolled down the passenger window, grabbed my flashlight, and swept it across the cornfield. Nothing but rippling stalks and distant lightning flashes. I leaned over to check the driver's side, and there he was, a man, face pressed against the glass. His eyes were still, like twin voids staring into me. My heart stopped. He watched for a moment, then broke into a wide grin, his crooked, yellow teeth gleaming like a predator's. I yelled, "What the hell do you want?" His lips moved, but the closed window and hail drowned him out. He just kept staring, unfazed by the storm raging around him. A chunk of hail struck his forehead, blood streaming down his face. He didn't flinch. That's when I knew whatever this was. It wasn't normal. My hands shook as I started the engine. I blinked, and he was gone. Vanished into the dark. No sound, no shadow. Like he'd never been there. I floored it, tires spitting gravel as I peeled onto the highway. Hail pounded the truck, but I didn't care. I didn't look left, right, or in the mirrors just straight ahead. Eyes locked on the road. By the time I hit the first gas station, the storm had passed. My hands were still trembling when I called my wife, telling her I was fine. I didn't mention the man, didn't mention that smile. Our trucks have cameras front, rear, interior, always recording. I popped the SD card into my tablet right there, needing to know if that face was real. I scrubbed through every second from when I pulled over to when I sped off. Nothing. Just the road and the rain. The camera didn't see him. I told myself it was stress. 14-hour shifts, bad weather, and the Delta's endless dark can mess with your head. It's like drowning in open space. But then I wiped the fog off the driver's side window. There it was, a faint, greasy smear, a wide arc right where that grin had been. My stomach dropped. Since that night, I don't drive the Delta roads after dark. If you've ever hauled through those long, empty stretches, you know the feeling. Something's watching from the edge of the cornfields, waiting for you to slow down, roll down your window, and look too close. I don't know what I saw out there, but I'll never forget those teeth.